Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about bait. Not exactly lures, which can be considered a bait, or any kind of hard bait or something like that. We're going to be talking about a few soft plastics, not necessarily ones that you use like a lure, but ones that sit. So basically sitting bait. So what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to start off this with power bait. One of my favorite little baits here, and these is a dough bait. You can put dough bait on a little worm hook, but it doesn't stay on as well. So lots of people actually put it on a treble hook. It's got three. That's why it's called a treble hook. It's got three little talons almost here. Really, really sharp. Get these at Eagle Claw. You can get these, well, from the brand Eagle Claw. You can get these at Walmart. You can get them anywhere, honestly. I think any store like Walmart or a sporting store like Cabela's or Bass Pro, you can find treble hooks. Look like that. Definitely go a lot smaller. I definitely go probably, let's see if I have one right here. That small. As small as I want you guys to go. This is as big as I want you guys to go. So that gives you an idea how small you can go. The bigger the number on a hook's bag size, the smaller the hook actually is. So if it's a size 15, it's incredibly small. If it's a size 2, it's huge. So these little guys here, you're going to put some power bait on them. The way you do that is you just open up the power bait, take a little bit of ball here, like dough, and you just dough it on there. What I like to do is just let it sit in the water. I obviously have it on a pole, and I have it all rigged up and tied on. You can see a video on how to tie hooks onto fishing line in one of my previous videos. I'll link it in the end of the video, so stay tuned for the end of the video because I will have a direct link to go straight to it there. Basically, you have this small little doughed piece of bait on, and you're gonna cast it out just a little bit, like maybe 2 feet out, and just let it get a little wet. Sometimes it just helps it stay on better when you just let it sit for a little bit. What you're going to want to do with the power bait rig is, especially the power bait rig, you can see if I have a bobber here. Okay, I have it right here. So this is the bobber I suggest using for this kind of rig. What you're going to do is, this is a bobber. You fill it up with a little bit of water by popping this out just a tiny bit, sinking it in the water, a little water fill up in there. Maybe it's halfway or so that it stands. I clamp it back. You just push the top again so that it can't really wiggle. You slide it up your line, and you're going to need a swivel after. So I'd use either a barrel swivel, or some people just use snap swivels because they're easier to find, but you can find those as well. They're also made by the brand Eagle Claw. You can find them at a store. They're pretty inexpensive. I think $2 for like 10 or so. But yeah, snap swivel or barrel swivel. What you're going to do is you're going to tie that onto the line in front of the bobber, so the bobber can't slide past it and go next to your bait. So that's the goal of having that there, is you're going to have line going on this, then you're going to have a swivel, then you're going to have a line leader, and then you're going to have your bait sitting at the end. And I'd say you put it up at least 2 feet and cast it out pretty far. You don't need to worry about exactly how far you cast because the bait sits. You definitely don't want to cast too close to shore, so I'd say 15 feet or more, depending on how much water is available to you. If you're like at a lake situation or something like that. That really covers power bait. If you want me to actually do one of these rigs on a video and show you guys, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll be able to record a video of this exact same setup, but in detail with line, with all that stuff. So if you guys are interested, definitely comment down below letting me know you guys want me to video myself doing this bait for you guys. Moving on to a staple bait across the globe, we have worms. You cannot ever go wrong with worms, I don't think. I don't think there's one time I've been like, no bait's working, so worms won't work either. If no bait is working, worms might be the one thing that does work. I'm definitely a supporter of using worms for bait. The easiest way to put a worm on a hook is you have your worm right here. I dug these worms out in my garden a couple days ago, and as long as you keep them in a shaded area so the dirt doesn't mold, they're fine. They're totally fine. You can put them in the fridge. You can put them in a little cabinet, something like that. The way you put the worm on is you simply slide it up. There, I will have hopefully this summer I can make a catfishing video for you guys, because hopefully I'll be able to head down to Utah Lake and make one of those catfishing videos. It's really, really good at Provo Harbor right now. And up for a lot of the summer, it's going to be pretty good. So basically, you want to cover most of the hook, and you don't want to completely cover the barb. So what you want to do is put the worm until it's just past the barb, because you want that barb not to be disturbed and in the way. You don't want it to be in the way. So basically, you want to cover the shaft here, and you want to cover the hook and leave the barb exposed like this. See how the barb is the only thing on this really exposed? That's how you want it. And you're going to cast this, and you're going to have probably a bobber like this. Any kind of bobber would really do. You could have this kind of bobber. You could have this kind of bobber. I highly suggest these bobbers. These are weighted, so in case your bait is too light, the bobber won't lay on its side or upside down or awkwardly. It will stand straight up no matter what. And that's just what I like having these baits here, is being able to have, like, okay, I meant bobber. Bobber. Meant to have a bobber like this. And also there's another bobber like that that'll work. It's foam, made by Como Tackle. That's right in here. This guy here. Como Tackle, also weighted, so it also stands up no matter what. But foam bobbers work really good for trout fishing, I think. And they're inexpensive, and you can get these, like 3 of these for the price you can get one of these fill bobbers here, because these are expensive. They're like probably $2 for one of these, but they're like balsa wood, and so they cost more because I don't know, they're more the materials used to make them, I guess. I don't know. I feel like these would obviously be more expensive than a little foam bobber, but these little foam bobbers are awesome. They don't provide too much resistance, so when it goes down, it doesn't scare the fish away. Same with these, because they are just wood. They're just wood that's easy to sink, and it's also weighted. So both of those are all weighted, so it doesn't disturb the fish's constant going, which it's normally going to try and run. Most fish will try and run with it. Some fish will stay, and it'll be really awkward. The bobber will just be spinning around like that. I just reel in a little bit of slack, which is just some of the line that probably frays out after you leave it out for a while. And then just give it a little tap and see if he's on there. If he tries to swim away, just set that hook and bring in your fish. Moving on to one of my all-time favorites for all trout fishing. It's honestly one of the best ways you can fish these guys here, and that is for sure the tube jig. They come in all colors and sizes, but one of my favorite is the Strike King right here. I think it's like white pepper or something like that. But yeah, this thing here, fire. Then you got this one here. We have the Lost Creek. They make all kinds of colors of squid, and they make them all kinds of densities. So you're going to have these really harder ones that are harder to break. You don't have to replace them as often. But these here, see how they're much softer. I can just instantly squeeze these. It's not like a big deal. But the thing about these is you do go buy these pretty fast. And they are fairly expensive. I think it's $4 for like maybe 5 of these. So pretty expensive. But it's a good deal, honestly, because in the end, these things work almost instantly. You don't have to wait very long for action on these things most of the time. I'll show you guys how to rig this. Basic. I can do a video on it for like the entire rig that I use, but for now, you take one of these tube jig here, right here. So we have this thing. This is the tube jig actual weight. This is the squid head. It's like its skull. I like to think of it as just the skeleton, because right now it's squishy, but once you have it on there, it's not going to be very squishy. So you're going to put it through the head of the squid. You're going to make sure it goes all the way down, right around the legs. You're not going to try and stab the squid through any side of its body, but you're just going to go all the way down until you get to his legs. And you're going to slide it up on its head, just like so. And now you can tie your line to that little eyelet here, and the squid is pretty disguised. And the next step to making this squid irresistible is worm. You just can't go wrong with worm. Bring worm wherever you go, whenever you go. Take a worm, and since this is a fairly big hook, you're going to want to cover a lot of ground here. And you're definitely going to want to watch to make sure that you don't cover that bobber too much. Sometimes I like to put the worm on pretty bad so that it has a lot of room to wriggle like that. That attracts the fish over. I'll take the tentacles here so that like it looks like he's either eating it or it's coming out of him like an entrail or something like that, like it's injured. One of the best ways to use these things, put some worm on the end, put them really, really high on a bobber and cast them out. And if you're on a boat, you don't need a bobber. You just drop it off, and that should be good. That basically covers squids, powerbait, and worms, which is my main setup. So I think you guys, if you guys have any baits that you guys use that I haven't mentioned in this video that you think are just absolutely amazing, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll definitely give them a try, and I might even make a video on it while I'm doing it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.